What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I want to go over the top functional modifications that you should do to your truck or your SUV. If you want to take it off the pavement, you want to have the best possible ground clearance, as well as keeping your vehicle protected from the elements off-road as well. So over the almost 4 years of ownership with my Toyota Tacoma, I have this pretty much dialed in where I can hit the trails. I don't have any rubbing issues. I have plenty of ground clearance. So of course, there are a ton of different brands that you can go with to build your truck to your certain specifications. But in today's video, we're gonna go over those functional modifications so you can have fun out on the trails. So the first accessory that I wanna go over doesn't necessarily have to do with the exterior or functional mods, but it is a functional mod to get you home after a long day out on the trails. So I'm talking about LastFit's all new fast wireless charging car charger. We've worked with LastFit auto lighting in the past, doing LED headlight bulbs, fog lights, tail lights. They even have interior kits as well. So they're branching off into the wireless charging market with this phone mount. And I think this is a really awesome feature to have. If you're out on the trails, your cell service might be a little bit limited and you're going to drain through your battery pretty quickly. So this is a great option. We have two different mounts. We have the suction cup mount here that goes right to your windshield, as well as the fan mount. So you can see I have that right here, and I can suction this right up to the windshield here. It has a pretty sticky backing to it, so you can definitely get that in a great spot. We also have the cord for it, which is about 2.5 feet. So you have plenty of cable. And we also have an aluminum adapter for the 12 volt. I've used some of these in the past that are plastic and they tend to crack. So I love that this one is aluminum. It's very durable. There's even a USB-C port on it too. So you can put in more than one item if you need to. And with the power on for the truck, you can see that the arms are now extended. There are touch sensitive buttons on both sides where you can see I can just push on those and the arms will open or retract, or open or close, I should say. When you insert that, they will automatically close. Now we have a great spot. We can look at our trail map or navigation. You can see how long it'll take you to get home. Now I do have a wireless charging pad in my Tacoma, but when the phone is placed there, I can't use it. I can't use my nav or anything because it's not visible in that location. So this is awesome to be able to see your phone, see your trail map, and I even have another one. So I'm gonna put that in my other car, which doesn't even have a wireless charging mount. So this is a great accessory to have, and make sure you guys check out LastFit Auto Lighting. I'll have all their information down in the description below. So the first functional modification that I want to go over in today's video is adding a set of rock sliders to your truck or your SUV. So you can see I have rock sliders on my Tacoma. This is going to be a very, very crucial mod if you want to keep the underside of your body well protected from any rocks or other elements while you're out on the trails. So this was actually the very first modification that I did to this truck, right around 400 miles or so. Because at 500 miles, I decided to take this to the trails and see how well it performed in the stock configuration. So if you don't plan on doing a lot of modifications to your vehicle, yet you want to keep it well protected, rock sliders is a very, very good investment, because if your truck or SUV comes down on a rock, it's going to damage not only the door, but the underside. That's going to be a very, very expensive repair bill. You can get rock sliders under $1,000, right around $400 or $500, just depending on the brand that you go with. It's going to save you a ton of money in the long run. I've actually had to use these rock sliders a few times. I decided to get them powder coated. It takes some of the powder coating off. You can easily cover that up with some Plasti Dip, or if you do decide to get them re-powder coated. It's the best investment that I've ever done. You can get multiple different brands too. You can even get ones that have side steps on them. I decided not to do that, but I can stand on these, wash the top of my truck. It makes it easier to enter and exit the truck as well. But if you are serious about off-roading and hitting the trails, this is definitely the #1 modification that you should add to your truck or your SUV. And so next up on the list, this is more pertaining to a pickup truck, but it can be beneficial on an SUV as well, and that is a high tuck exhaust system. So on my Tacoma here, you can see just how much of an overhang there is, and the overhang is from the rear of the tire all the way to the bed. So you can see I have probably close to 2 feet there, and this is very vulnerable place, especially when you're going downhill. Your departure angle, it's not going to be all that impressive, and then with a stock exhaust system, that's going to be something that will get in the way, and inevitably that happened to me. I'll put up a clip here where you can see my exhaust getting ripped off by the rock with the drop that I went down. So a high tuck exhaust system is definitely something that's going to be key, and you're basically doing an exhaust delete if you want to call it that. So from the rear end of the truck, you can't even see my exhaust system because it's tucked up there nicely, and it's going to be out of the way. It's not going to get damaged, and that's a lesson that I will not repeat because I have the high tuck exhaust and I won't be damaging this one anytime soon. So that is a really helpful system to have. So that leads us on to mod number 3, and that is a high clearance rear bumper. So along with that high tuck exhaust system, having a high clearance rear bumper is definitely the best modification that I've ever put on my truck. I might be saying that on a few of these mods here. So by having the high clearance bumper, I haven't had any issues since I've been out on the trails with this setup. And I love how much clearance I have for my departure angle. So if you're doing some serious hardcore off-roading and you want to basically have your vehicle set up where you don't even have to worry about it. I really didn't even have to have a spotter the last time I went off-road because I knew I had plenty of clearance all around where I wasn't going to damage anything, and that was the case. So I love being able to take my vehicle off-road and having it set up for those trail situations where you don't even have to worry about that. You can just go out, have fun. And while we're talking about bumpers, let's move on to installing a new front bumper on your truck or SUV. So installing a steel front bumper can give you a lot of added benefits. It's more durable, you can hook up winches to it, you can put other accessories like the hijack system. So if you do get a flat out on the trails and you want somewhere to install it, I've seen a lot of people with front bumpers have different accessories like that. So it's very beneficial. You can also see too, I kind of have a high clearance front bumper. It's not quite as aggressive as my rear bumper, but you can see, we can see more of the tire up front, and it just gives you a little bit more clearance. So if you're coming up to a large wall, you have that bumper, which I've cut away, out of the way, and you have it replaced with steel. So it's gonna be a little bit more durable. I have been out on the trails and hit the front corner of my truck on some dirt walls, whereas if I have the steel bumper here, it's gonna be more durable. You can cover up the powder coating with a little bit of Plasti Dip or get it recoated, of course, and you're good to go. Not really gonna cost all that much. The next modifications that I wanna go over are basically a package deal. That's your lift, wheels, and tires. So of course a lift is going to give you more ground clearance, and it gives you the ability to stuff in larger tires. So on my Tacoma here, I have around 3.5 inches up front and 3 inches in the rear. I've been able to stuff 34 by 12.5 inch tires on this with a 17-inch wheel. Now, of course, there are a lot of different options. I've made some videos on the best wheel and tire combo, as well as the best lift kit. I'll link some of those down in the description below, but there's going to be a ton of different options depending on what you use your truck for the most. And I think I have a fantastic setup. I have plenty of clearance for these tires with the lift kit that I decided to go with. So this is definitely very crucial. I have well over 10 inches of ground clearance on my truck with these tires and lift. So it's definitely something, if you're doing some hardcore off-roading, you need to do this to your truck, because like I said earlier in this video, I have pretty much no issues going off-road. I don't have any rubbing, scraping. I can pretty much tackle anything in my Tacoma, and I love how it's set up just like that. But it also gives it a cool look when you're driving this down the road too. Now that your vehicle is set up with all these modifications, it's time to take it out to the trails and see how well it performs. But there is one last step that needs to be done, and that's to do a term called airing down. Basically, this is letting PSI out of your tires, so that way you can get the best possible grip when you're going down the trails. Your tires can conform to the elements, and it's also going to help them with being less prone to puncturing because you don't have a lot of air in them. They can go around those elements and give you a little bit more grip. And so with airing down, of course, that means taking PSI out of your tires. On my Tacoma here, I usually run around 34 PSI when I'm out on the roads, and I go all the way down to 20 PSI when I'm out on the trails. Now, being out in a remote area on the trails, letting PSI out of your tires means that you have to fill them back up before you hit the roads to head home. And in order to do that, you need an air compressor. So on my Tacoma, I have a built-in air compressor right up underneath the hood. It doesn't take up a lot of space, and it's something that is very usable and very convenient to have. So while I use this out on the trails, I also use it at home too, so I can quickly check my tires if I need to fill them up. It's a very convenient and easy way to do it, or filling up other tires that I may have, motorcycles, other vehicles, things like that. And the last functional modification for your vehicle is skid plates up underneath. Now on my Tacoma, I'm still running all of the factory skid plates, but you can see they have some dings to them. They're scuffed up. I think I will be needing to replace those very soon. Maybe get some ones that are a little bit thicker and more durable. And that is something that you're going to need to use, especially if you're hitting some hardcore trails. Having skid plates for your transfer case or even your fuel tank can be something that's definitely very, very important. So I think at some point I definitely need to upgrade those. I'm just not sure which ones to go with yet. They can be a little bit pricey, but just like the rock sliders, it's something where you're gonna spend a little bit more money now to save money later. In case I had a rock or something go through my fuel tank, having a little bit more beefy of a skid plate can definitely keep the underside of your vehicle well protected. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for the top functional modifications that you should add to your truck or your SUV. For me, my Tacoma is my daily, so I want it to look good, I want it to have the functions for going off-road, and I want to be able to drive it home in one piece at the end of the day. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Comment down below what modifications have you done to your truck and what adventures have you gone on. Give the video a huge thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next video.